everybody, how's it going? My name is Eric. I'm an astrophysics student at the University of Calgary. I'm also a volunteer with the Rothney Astrophysical Observatory. I just started actually being a volunteer coordinator there, or at least I will, May 1st, which is almost here. I am also a youth member with the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, and this week is Black Hole Week. So I thought we'd discuss what exactly black holes are. Kind of the weird freaks of nature in the astrophysics world. We get a lot of attention from people who come to Rothney for space night. So what the heck is a black hole? It just sounds cool. Today we're going to talk about that a little bit and see what they are. The question for this video, and pop your answer in the comments down below, what's a black hole? Do you know what a black hole is? Are you familiar with black holes? What are they? What is their purpose? What are they made of? Are they dangerous? Are we all going to get eaten up by a black hole? Let me know down in the comments. So recently I actually had the pleasure of attending a RASC Calgary talk hosted by the Calgary Public Library, and it was given by Dr. Abby Stevens from the, I don't want to mess this up, Michigan State University, and she studies black holes. She actually studies them using X-ray telescopes, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. But her talk was super cool. I was familiar with some of the stuff she talked about, and I learned a bunch while I watched the presentation as well, so I thought I'd just kind of share what I learned and hopefully get more of you talking about what black holes are. Alright, so if you don't know what a black hole is, here's some of the basics. Okay, so just as a quick history lesson, the first black hole that was ever discovered was in the constellation Cygnus, and it's been classified Cygnus X-1, or just Cygnus X1. Cygnus, of course, is the Swan constellation, so in the summer you can see the summer triangle composed of Vega, Deneb, and Altair. Deneb is in Cygnus, and Cygnus is, of course, the Swan. The Swan and the Eagle both swim through the Milky Way, so if you see Cygnus and Aquila in the night sky, you always know where the Milky Way is. And of course, if you didn't already know, the Milky Way is, of course, our galaxy. That's where we're located in the knowable universe, so that's probably a good thing to know. Yes, so this was discovered in 1972, and the X in the name actually refers to the type of black hole it was. It was an X-ray binary, so that means that basically there was a black hole. One second. So there was a black hole, and I'm just going to use my hand to demonstrate the black hole. And nearby, it had a star friend, what Dr. Abby Stevens called a star friend. Maybe this is a cleaner golf ball. And what it was doing was it was sucking off gaseous material from the star friend and accreting it around itself. And what happens is the gases heat up super hot, and they emit X-rays. And you can see these with X-ray telescopes. So that's why it was called Cygnus X1. It's a pretty symbiotic relationship. We'll actually talk about this later on, but yeah, there's tons of forms of galactic and stellar cannibalism in astrophysics. So black holes themselves are really hard to imagine. They're remarkably simple and complicated all at the same time. Simple in the sense of black holes only have two distinct features: the fact that they're supermassive and that they can kind of spin. They're just a bunch of mass. They consume mass, and as they consume mass, they grow. They're kind of like gluttons at a Thanksgiving dinner table. One way to think about how massive an object is think about its gravitational pull. If we take this and we pretend that this is a star, and I put this on my hat, you can see it weighs down the hat. So just the hat by itself is basically flat, but as soon as I put the golf ball on my hat, it kind of starts to weigh down the hat. In this case, the hat is the fabric of reality, space-time, and the golf ball is the star. Now, if you increase the mass of an object really far, you get something that bends and contorts space-time even more. Now, if you put this in a really tiny spot, something super small, like the size of a city, but it's the mass of 3, 4, 5 stars, that starts to do really weird things that frankly we only understand mathematically. We don't really have a reality-based kind of understanding of what these things are. So another way of understanding gravity is to think about how much velocity you'd need to escape the gravitational pull of a certain object. So for instance, for Earth, you can calculate the escape velocity pretty simply just by using conservation of energy. Now, when you calculate the escape velocity for Earth, obviously it's an attainable velocity. We can launch rockets off of our planet, but when you calculate the escape velocity for a black hole, what you get is that the speed is actually faster than the speed of light, hence black hole. Anything closer to the black hole than the event horizon, it's not getting out. Okay, so I just threw a word at you called event horizon. What the heck is an event horizon? Yeah, I'm actually going to use this for a black hole now. There's this radius where when you get any closer, the escape velocity becomes faster than the speed of light. It's basically a no-fly zone. Don't enter the black hole's no-fly zone, because if you do, you'll get sucked in. That being said though, if you're outside of the event horizon, you're just going to kind of pulled into orbit around the black hole just as if it was any other massive object. And the event horizons for black holes are remarkably small. They're not actually super big. That's why we're perfectly safe here as far as we are away from our galactic center. So yeah, the event horizon basically is a black hole's no-fly zone. Okay, so then there's also components of a black hole. So you can have the black hole itself. That is the space-time singularity. Again, space-time, fabric of reality. Singularity, more of a math word. You also get the photon sphere. The photon sphere is super cool. So just like planets orbit stars, the moon orbits the Earth, there's a perfect radius around a black hole where light itself will orbit the black hole. You can also get relativistic jets, and there's actually going to be a Calgary Rask talk, again hosted by the Calgary Public Library next month. I'll have the link to their channel down in the description below so you can check that out. But basically what happens is all of the plasma gas in the accretion disk, plasma being mainly ionized matter, creates a bunch of magnetic fields, and those magnetic fields combine in really weird and complicated ways as they spin around the black hole's center, and they combine. So there's this really large magnetic force going up, and you can actually shoot off ionized gas at relativistic velocities, 10% the speed of light, 20% the speed of light, 50% the speed of light, those types of velocities. Whenever we say relativistic, we're talking about large percentages of the speed of light.
That's a pretty tight groove. Pretty happy with that. Golf season coming up soon. Weather starts to get nicer maybe.
Alright, so this is all good. We know some history. We know some components of black holes. We can kind of start to understand what exactly they are, but this is all great. But where the heck did they come from? Okay, first stage, big gaseous nebula. Second stage, areas that exceed Jean's mass, or the mass that would be required to collapse the gas into its protostar, or the first kind of spherical kind of component of a star where the gas starts to heat up. 3, the main stage, main sequence lifetime of a star, where it's burning its hydrogen and turning it into helium, turning its helium into the next heavier element, and so on, all the way up to iron, where it actually requires energy to make a heavier element, so that doesn't happen, at least in the star's main sequence lifetime. And then, if you got a big enough star, live fast, die young, super massive, consuming a ton of fuel, these stars are the stars that eventually become potentially black holes. So they reach the end of their life cycle. They don't have any more gas to exert outward forces, so they just collapse in on themselves. One of two things can occur at this point. After the star explodes in a supernova, you can get one of two things: a black hole or a neutron star. We should probably do a video on neutron stars because they're super cool. If you missed the last however long that actually took, what is going on with my camera right now? We get black holes from super big stars that went supernova and collapsed, okay? And by the way, so this would give you a stellar mass black hole. So this would be something that's 3 or 4 times the mass of the sun. It's within the range of the mass of the sun. Galactic black holes, some of these black holes, they've been around since the beginning of the universe. They're completely different. You can't get something that's 4 million times the mass of the sun just from one star exploding. There's 2 main classes of black holes: stellar mass black holes, which are 3 to 5 times the mass of the sun, or supermassive black holes. These are like the galactic center in our galaxy. They're like 4 million times the mass of the sun. And there's a screaming kid behind me. But like I mentioned earlier, the escape velocity is greater than the speed of light. In other words, light can't escape them. So how do we see black holes if we can't see black holes?
Hello.
Post-production, Eric here. So basically from here on was Dr. Abby Stevens' presentation. It was all about how we can see black holes and all the various ways we can see black holes. And I actually did film the rest of this video outside, but I feel like I'd just be raining on her parade. So I'm actually just gonna cut off the video here. And you can go check out her presentation, which was absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. It might actually only be an hour, something like that. It'll be on the Calgary RASC YouTube channel, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. It's not uploaded yet as of when I'm recording this little interlude, but it will be up there eventually, and you'll be able to see that, and you'll be able to hear it directly from her. I learned a lot, I enjoyed it, and I just wanted to share. But I'm not a black hole specialist, so I'm going to let her explain all of that as she did in the presentation when I went to it live. All right, so cue video outro.
I also really enjoyed sharing everything here with you, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.